Hi, it's Gadget UK here again. Just thought I'd show you this teardown of a Nintendo 64. Pretty easy to get into. You need a special screwdriver that's got the right fitting there for the nuts, so you can get these off eBay for a couple of quid. They work on, I think they work on the SNES and the N64. These also fit the 32X, Sega 32X cartridges as well. So I think there's like 6 or 7 screws underneath. You can see where I've removed them, one under these feet here, and the feet just drop off actually after you've got the case off, and there's a few at the top there and stuff. I've got an expansion cover for this, it's just clipped off at the moment I think, and that's it, it'll come straight off. So I thought whilst I'm in here I may as well disassemble this, and perhaps there might be some thermal compound or something on the attaching this massive heatsink to the GPU and stuff, and CPU in there. So I thought there's no harm in just disconnecting this, having a look, clean it up a little bit while I'm there. So I'm guessing I'm going to need to take all of these screws out here, and there's a few that hold some shielding down various places as well, and then hopefully all this metal stuff will just come straight off. So once you've got all these screws out of here, as you can see, the heatsink just sort of slides back like that. I'm not sure you even need to really take that off, you could probably take the whole thing off together, but I might even put some heatsink compound under there just to get a bit of better thermal connectivity to there. It's made of aluminium this, or aluminum, call it what you will. Anyway, I need to get these screws out of off the shielding now, just to remove that. There you go, so all the shielding removed now. Got a good nice clear view of the board there. There's bits of fluff and stuff, I'll need to clean that up. It's worth pointing out that you've got loads of surface mounted electrolytics on here. So whilst this is working really well at the moment, future years to come, you know, these are probably going to need swapping out at some point. Cartridge slot, I'm just going to clean that up with a bit of sandpaper, I think. But yeah, not much to do here. I might put a bit of heatsink compound on the top of these. These are stuck on with like thermal pads, so I wouldn't want to pull these off. They seem pretty well adhered there, but the board does need cleaning. There's lots of bits of dirt and fluff and stuff. I'll give it a good inspection with a magnifying glass just to make sure there's no signs of any corrosion or anything going on anywhere, but it looks pretty clean really, but then just bits of dust and fluff. I mean, the switch obviously needs a good clean. I might just get some WD-40 in there as well. Yeah, not much to do in here at all, but anyways, I thought you might find that interesting. Parents got this again for me from a car boot sale for £8, so yeah, it's another really good pickup. Really pleased with that. Right, so I've vacked that down and used a cotton bud various places. Also cleaned the tops, those heat sinks there with a bit of ice prop. This isn't actually required, obviously it's not there to start with, but I'm going to do it anyway. And that's just a bit, let's say, put a little dub or blob, call it what you want, of thermal paste on top of these heat sinks. Just because then it will make better thermal connectivity with the heatsink, you know, the larger heatsink that's mates with that. I mean, I know it's held on with screws and stuff, but yeah, you can't really cause any problems doing this. So yeah, I'd recommend it. Just going to get it away from the edges here so it doesn't start leaking down. But I've not put too much on there, that should even out quite nicely once I stick the heatsink back on. So it goes that way. Like that. There we go. So just need to screw this all down now. Make sure you get your screw lengths right as well. There are some longer ones that go next to the cart slot here, and then you've sort of got medium length ones for holding the shielding down, and then the smaller, as you say, those sort of size ones obviously hold the top piece of shielding on, and there's a couple there more for that as well, and I think the 2 black ones go on that piece of silver shielding there. The other thing I'm going to do here is put some thermal compound just in the centre of where those you know, the screw markings are there, where it mates with this larger aluminium heatsink or aluminum heatsink. I'll clean this down as well, both sides with some ice prop. But yeah, the heatsink compound there should make a good thermal connection to that once I screw that back down as well. So I need to get that aligned. Yeah, it's that way around, so now it goes under. That's right. So yeah, it could be a bit challenging trying to squeeze that in there. Probably best off putting it up this end so that it smears across there as you sort of move it across, really. But yeah, let's get some compound on there now. So I'll just put it on the blob. You don't need masses of this. You probably don't even really need any, to be honest. It's just me being a bit overcautious, really. I'd rather make sure this has got really good thermal characteristics. There we go. That's it. Screw that down. And like all these things, as I've shown in the past, don't tighten up when you're putting screws in. Don't tighten them up. Do one corner first. Do opposite ends. Always do opposite ends of things. You get even torque distribution, which means it goes better together. It goes together better. It's easier. You don't get stuck. Sometimes you can get one particular corner where the thread can get damaged because screws at opposite ends of the case or whatever it is you're trying to fit together are misaligned. See, that was okay now. But if I tighten some of the other screws, that one could have struggled to go in. So typically what I'll do is like say the opposite ends of things, get all my screws in position, and then start tightening opposite ends of things, and you should find it just goes together so much easier, so much better. And especially on something like this where you've got a heatsink and you want even distribution, you want it to make a good connection from all angles, really. You don't want it pulling on one side more than the other. So in order to clean the RAM bus connector, it probably doesn't need it, but it's worth doing it anyway. Just a bit of sandpaper, really fine to it, because you don't want something too abrasive, you don't want to damage the copper contacts inside, but something that's really lightly abrasive, and then just push it inside like that. Just wiggle it up and down, move it around. You might want to use compressed air or something afterwards, or just give it a blow at a certain angle just to get rid of any particles of dust that come off as a result of doing that. In fact, you could probably do it with your hands. You don't even need to use pliers in this case. I use the pliers when I'm doing these same sort of connectors, similar size connectors inside Dreamcast controllers and inside N64 controllers. But that's it. That's all you need to do. Should do the trick. Once you've got the lid off, it's easy to get access to the edge of these connectors here, just to clean any bits of muck and dirt and stuff off. So it doesn't show through and stuff once you get the lid on. So my lid's looking a bit dirty here. There's some scratches and things. Might be able to clean some of these up a little bit with some plastic cleaner and stuff, plastic polish I should say. But yeah, lots of crustiness and stuff here around the switch and around the RAM bus memory expansion pack slot thing there. Vents, so then into no badge. So got some cleaning up to do on that before I want to put that back on. And if, like mine, you've got crustiness around the switch here, you can easily get that out. You can see just two little plastic clips, and if you squeeze them together, then that should just pop straight out. So you can get right underneath there, cleans all the sides of the switch, and clean all around this cavity side there, because that's pretty dirty. To get into the vents here, just using a squashed cotton bud, just use some pliers to flatten it down, and it fits quite nicely into the hole there. So if you put some soap and water on it, it's trivial work really. It's very easy to clean those vents on this. Of course you could just put it in the sink and use a scrubbing brush and stuff on it as well. So pretty much back together now, all the screws are in and everything, got the feet back on. Something worth noting, if you get one of these second hand and you've not got anything in this slot here, I don't think it's going to work, because you need one of these what they call a jumper pack, and I think they're just terminating resistors or something. This is a RAM bus socket here, so if you've not got the terminating resistor pack already in there, I suspect you probably get black screen. So you've got an alternative, or a couple of options to either try and source a jumper pack, or get one of these expansion packs. I think is it 4 meg? I think the 4 megabytes or something, and yeah, just sit one of those, and that should solve your problem. So I'm just going to go around the bottom part of the case now, because that hasn't really had a clean, just with some soap and water, and then finally I'll use some of the guys' plastics, try and get some of these little scratches and things off the top and the front, and perhaps use some back to black on it just to give it a nice shine. Just a couple of points of interest with this before I do the final bit of cleaning. You'll notice you've got nothing in the back here. This is where your power supply goes. So the power supplies are a separate unit on these. And the other, I guess, useful information is where you've got the AV multi-out here. A SNES cable will work. I think it works. It's interchangeable between the two. So it's worth getting one of those. If you do get one of those, get the one that's. I think they give. You'll find them combined where they give out composite or S-video. The S-video is preferable. I've used both on this, and S-video gives a much better picture. There we go, nice and clean now. I've managed to get all the scratches off. There's still a couple of scratches around there. They're not too bad, you know, at the right light. You know, you can't really see them. You've got to look pretty closely. But it's come up really, really well. I managed to get the scratches off the logo there. The plastics did that, but there's still one or two little scratches on the front there that I can't avoid. But all in all, it's come out really well. I hope you found that interesting. Thanks again, Mum and Dad, for getting me that. Like I say, £8 from a car boot. That's brilliant. Really, really chuffed with that. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'll see you soon.